Welcome back. You're still watching Ways. Traditionally, customers usually have one mode of payment, either cash or card, when they shop at a store or local shop. With technology taking over, gone are the days of waiting and carrying large quantities of cash or even waiting for payments to be processed. Payment options for customers are now faster and safer than ever before, and customers expect to have a choice in the matter. Not offering varying payment options for customers could lead to decreased sales and damage the reputation of your company. Your company could appear redundant, rigid, and unwilling to accommodate customer expectations. Also, in the Yuletide season, collecting cash might attract unwelcomed attention to your business premises, posing a risk to infrastructure and lives of your employees. So how exactly does embracing alternative payment solutions help? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. Now, before I introduce our guest, so let me just go ahead and introduce him, then we talk later. Jeffrey Williams Edem has over 18 years of sales experience in 6 industries, spanning consulting, professional services, retail payment technology, financial services, health, and food. His work experiences cover both local and international brands, such as multinational brands like NRC in Atlanta. He joined InterSwitch in 2011 and is currently the group business head managing merchant acquiring business development across Africa. An expert in sales optimization, business and marketing development, focused on achieving exceptional results in highly competitive business environment that demands continuous improvement and volume/profits focused results. An alumni of the Lagos Business School, a student of the London School of Economics and Columbia Business School. He is trained in Melian, Herman, and value selling methodology. He's currently the group business head, merchant acquiring at InterSwitch. As part of his many achievements, in 2014, he designed and developed and deployed InterSwitch's first retail solution strategy for SME and MSME market in Nigeria. That journey was to build a business model that supports and enables microtransactions in the country. You see the way I was smiling because Sandy was distracting me. She was like, all this for one person. I was like, that is a lot. Sandy was intimidated by Jeffrey. Okay, but
and he's so humble.
Please wait, before you gush over our guests, please, can you focus on this topic. What before we bring in the expert, obviously the overqualified expert, can we give an idea? When you think of payment and business, what comes to your mind?
Ease. Yeah. I want to do things quickly.
Okay.
Speed.
For me, I like options. I like that if I'm not paying cash in hand, I'm doing ATM or I'm doing POS or I'm doing transfer or just, like you said, ease, options.
But you don't, have you ever walked into that store and then you're like, sorry, we don't do transfer?
or we can do the POS, but there's no network.
And it's,
so it's like,
it's funny how you hear this only in Nigeria. Like, it's so funny. I've never walked into a store abroad and tried to pay, and they say, "Oh, sorry, we don't have network," or they take the POS machine and start looking for network.
It's not their fault.
Like,
it's not their fault. But let's bring in Jeffrey.
Okay.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So the ladies were like really gushing over you. Apart from the fact that Jeffrey has an intimidating
he has
repertoire, he has presence,
He does, yes.
and he's also handsome.
I think for me it's his humility.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you very
God.
much.
Please, can we now come back and discuss the subject of this? So welcome, Jeffrey. We're so very happy. We couldn't have had a better guest to talk about this. But before even we delve into, how payments is helping business, let's discuss business growth. That has always been like a contention for many people. When you say a business is growing or a business is successful, is it when they buy Prado, Jeep, when they go on Instagram and show us the new house that they built? So what, in your opinion, is a successful business or business growth?
Would say, how do you define if a business is growing? I think we should talk about it from that perspective. I would simplify it in 3 ways. The first would be you are selling more unit items. That means you're growing. The second would be that you are in multiple touch points. I mean, if I'm buying from you at Oshodi, I can buy from you in Lekki or in Surulere, so you're growing. The other is that you have enough to run your business in such a way that your business can afford the growth that it's already experiencing. That means you are growing. You know, when you are able to grow but can't fund the growth, then you're not really growing.
Wow.
Because you have the potential to grow, but you don't have the capacity to grow. So when you have the capacity to grow, when you have the ability to be present in multiple locations where required, and when the average unit item is exponentially growing, then your business is growing.
Wow, that's
I
excellent.
will add something to that. I would say succession planning. So you see, with most businesses in Nigeria, it dies when the business owner dies.
Yes.
So when it's able to move to the next generation, you know, and then the next generation, then you say the business is growing.
Yeah, it's true. Very rarely do you find a third generation, though.
In
Everything
Africa.
in Africa.
In Africa.
Because the young ones just want to do something else.
Yeah.
They don't want to
Why
take
is
over.
that? Is it like the businesses our parents run? It doesn't look lucrative, or it's a cake, or why is that?
It's evolution.
Okay.
What we used to know were the businesses of those days do not really exist anymore as they are now. I mean, the skilled labor that we used to have, the masons, the carpentry, the skill work that they are passing on to the next generation. Everybody wants to go to school, everybody wants to look good, everybody wants to be in the office, nobody wants to take on those trades. And you know what is interesting is that it's the reverse in the Western world. You are considered more successful and more you're earning more when you are now doing carpentry and mason work than if you're doing the office work. So it's just different how we've transferred that to the Western world.
Because I was even going to even mention, let's even leave that the people that, you know, their fathers started having very big farms, or they were into textile. Because so what happens, because these are things that you could transfer from generation to generation. If you want to even innovate, you can innovate and still be within the same line of business. So would you say, you know, what would you say is the issue, is the problem with, you know, those kind of industries that were set up?
Nothing is wrong with them. Because, I mean, if they were successful in the first generation, they were successful in the second generation, hopefully. In the third generation, the value of money, the economics that has now existed in this current time is different from the economics that existed back then. The evolution of technology, the implementation of policies, all of these things have evolved over time.
But don't you think that the businesses should have evolved with that, with the time? So regulations change, and it should. I think it's part of what Manny is saying, having that succession plan to foresee the future, because you have House of Gucci, all of them. I'm trying to remember this guy that has changed his hat for like 7 or 8 times. What's his name again?
Hat?
Yes, he has had like 7 or 6. Rockefeller. You see, they've been in he's changed his hat like 6 or 7 times. So you see, they're still in business, innovating around the original idea and being there. So I think for us really is a transfer of that knowledge and innovating around.
That's what I was about to say, that knowledge. Being there to want to get on that knowledge, putting something in place to structure the way the knowledge is so that you can pass it on generation after generation. If that structure is not there, even if you bring somebody in there, there is no structure to learning. And most times you just take it for granted. You spoil them with money, you spoil them with opportunities, you're not letting them learn. I remember when growing up, my mom, when we had holidays, would send us to go learn things. You would learn,
True.
You will learn how to polish shoes, you will learn how to
make soap.
To make, exactly.
Also.
You will learn how to clean floors. And so
but you know what the problem is too? The fact that in this country, I'll use the word that everybody uses in Nigeria, japa. Everybody makes sure that their children get to secondary school and then they leave Nigeria. So who is going to be here?
Please, let's come back to talk about it. Thank you.
Online.
So you heard when we were reading out the numbers from NIBS. How do you think the pandemic has really affected payments and the acceptance?
I
of
think
different payments?
it's the best thing since sliced bread for Africa.
Yeah.
I don't like sliced bread.
Okay, Agege Alewago, whatever side you want.
But go on, sir.
So I think a lot of people woke up to what everybody has been asking Nigeria and Africa to do for years. Like, when do you want to start? And it had to be a pandemic that triggered that growth. Two key indices. The first is people started spending 45% more time on their phones. 45% more growth in social media activation. 45% more purchases in data. Everybody just keep on. Exactly. So now I'm on my phone. I can't go out. I can't talk to the customers. They can't come to me. Jimo, I have things to sell. Okay, send a picture. Let me see. How do I pay you? I can't come to your house. So, okay, don't you have that thing that I can transfer or pay? Before you know, people started to open accounts. Banks started to innovate in a way that you can open accounts while you're home.
By yourself.
Digital platforms became available where you don't have to pay to onboard your business. I mean, people like InterSwitch and the rest started innovating platforms that allow people to onboard their businesses online without anybody. The cost of technology just crashed, and people were now becoming more available online. And so, where do you think the numbers are coming from? It's millions of people bringing their businesses online.
Yes. And it's so significant that the numbers just jumped by over 100%. You're going to ask question, Manny?
No. I'm just fascinated. With all its challenges, the pandemic opened the way for exciting business opportunities.
People were making a lot of money.
And people were at home. So you are not in that hustle and bustle of life where you don't have the time to think, to learn, to want to understand what e-commerce is. You are home. And if you remember, people used to make a lot of jokes that, can there be any more training online? Like, everybody had something to say.
Everybody had something to say.
Everybody was going live.
Everybody, like WhatsApp stories were there. All the social media pages. I mean, you could join any class for free or at a token just to learn how to bring your business
online.
Even
Harvard had free courses.
Absolutely.
Well, for me, I feel that, and this is based on experience, like with the multiple payment options we have, it just gave room for more fraudulent, activities.
Thank you.
Right? Because I know how many times I even had to tell my bank, I said, shut it down. Listen, if you guys don't work on this, I'm going to shut down this account. So I froze it for a while because there was just too many fraudulent alerts and I'm just not understanding it. Right? So let's talk about online businesses and the increase in, is it online business payment options and increase in fraud, online fraud?
Well, it's like how you are creating operating systems and people are also sitting down creating viruses. It's an industry of its own, and same with fraud as well. And the more there are fraudulent people, the more there are more innovations happening to stop them. So without the challenges, what would challenge the people who are doing what they're doing? So those are also creating its own challenges and also creating its own innovation to stamp that. And so you find that there would always be instances where people would try to game the system. It's normal everywhere in the world. It's not a Nigerian thing. It's a global thing. But if you look at the last 10 years, the numbers show that the cases of fraud has dropped. It's not increasing. It was very, very easy to take money off your account many years ago. Now with
your corporation.
Thank you. Now you find that you have 2FAs, it's two-factor authentication. People try to go into your account, you get a text message.
Oh, that's
People
true.
try to change your password, you get an email, right?
That is
now
true.
you can go on your app and you can deactivate your account. You can deactivate your card. You can freeze your account. So there's a lot of technology that is helping payments become more secure. And the CBN has also helped a lot. A lot of the right policies have been in place. I mean, this innovation would not have happened also without their support.
Yes, true.
So they are driving payment facilitators to put the right fraud. So in fact, you can't even onboard a big aggregator without the requirement for a fraud solution. And so with all of that has been a part of the functional system, it's becoming better. It will not go away, but it's getting better on how.
Better. Okay.
So I would like to ask a question. So while we're celebrating the people that are getting on the platform, there are some people that are not there yet. There's some businesses that still charge people for people to use their POS. And I need you to connect it now for us, connect the dots. how does payment help business success? But we'll talk about that when we come back from this break. If you just tuned in, we're having an amazing chat with Jeffrey William Adam on embracing alternative payment options for business growth. And before we left, we're asking a question, but please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 08180384663. Now, before we went on the break, I was trying to get you to connect the dots of what we're talking about here. What relationship has payments got to do with business growth? You know, sometimes it looks obvious, but let's allow you, the expert, to justice.
Okay, I've been asked that question multiple times, and I've always had the privilege to helping people see the connection. I would simplify it to 4. I always like to have the 1, 2, 3, 4. It allows.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first is it encourages what is called the average basket value. The average basket value is how much you spend per every transaction at any store. When you walk into a store and you want to buy things, and everything in your basket is 50,000 naira, but your cash is 20,000, and the POSs are not working, what happens?
You remit your spend to 20,000, or you even leave the entire bag.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do that. I can leave the entire
So
thing.
the existence of multiple payment options
Yeah.
allows the average basket size to keep on increasing.
Wow.
Because you can conveniently buy anything
Like,
that you
wow.
want.
Average basket
Including
size.
diapers. You're saying that because it's not diapers.
All right. The second thing is that it makes trade possible all the time. Trade is not possible all the time because we don't agree on how payments will be made. So if I ask you how you're going to pay me, and you say, oh wait, I'm going to give you 1 million naira in cash, you'll be like, oh no, I don't want 1 million naira in cash. Can't you transfer?
Yeah.
So sorry, I don't have a bank account. Wait, can we suspend this conversation until when we can have this 1 million naira properly transferred to my bank account? So trade is always possible when there are alternative payment. The second one, the third one now, we are able to adapt to customer buying behaviors. Now, I saw the quote that you had at the beginning of the show. It was really powerful, and I liked it. So I was trying to write it down, but it just went off the screen.
We'll hook you up.
You hook me up later.
Check the platform.
So you find that if you build your business in such a way that you are adapting your payments to the consumer behavior, trade becomes easier, growth becomes easier. The mistake people make is you exist in the West, but you want to have the same payment option in the North. The West would naturally just open their bank account app and they will transfer to you. But what does the North do? They want to dial star something, something, something.
Wow.
Now, a great business that wants to grow would need to say, what is my consumer purchase behavior? What is the customer buying behavior? And I would like to adjust my payment so that if you come in and you require USSD, I got you. If you come in and you're the tech guys with the headphones and you want to scan a QR, I got you. If you're my mama spec, like my mom who comes in and says, no, I have cash, we take. If it is the madam that has taken a gas credit card or debit card, we got you. So it doesn't matter whatever payment options you want. A business that wants to scale and grow would need to adopt multiple payment options and make sure that these alternatives are always available. And it's interesting. May I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
It's interesting to note how technology has also evolved over the last 5 years. In 2018, back at InterSwitch, I'm still there. At InterSwitch.
I can tell your boss.
No, please. In 2018, we started a project at InterSwitch where we wanted to consolidate that into one view. So before, the banks used to come to you and a different department will sell you USSD, they will go away. Another department to come and give you POS, they'll go away. Another department to come and give you QR, and then so all of that. But technology has evolved. Now you have a POS terminal that has everything. So you put your amount in there, and when you click pay, it comes up with all the 7 options. Do you want to pay with wallet? Do you want to pay with USSD? Do you want to pay with QR? Do you want to pay with card? Do you want to pay with token? And it's there. And while they ask you for the bank account to transfer to, the problem that we saw in 2018, 2019, why didn't that really work well, was that the cashier would have to look for the accountant
exactly
to validate
the account number.
But again, technology and payment has evolved to the point that the back-end system exists today. So why can't that transfer talk to the back-end system that operates the POS terminal so that a receipt can be printed? That technology exists today on POS terminal.
You have to look for that POS. I'm listening.
No.
Okay.
I'll hook you up with that.
Thank you. Manny, you wanted to throw in something?
No, she was going to ask a question.
Yeah, I one of the major challenges, I mean, I don't know how many payment options are out there, but the ones that I know that my knowledge is limited to, there's always network drama.
Yeah.
Right? So I would like you to talk on if there are any network options right now that, we're not limited to. If there are any payment options right now that we're not limited to network, let's say my data is exhausted, I don't have data, so what do I do then? I mean, there's the star, everything, but even that one is at the mercy of network too. So
that's a big question.
That's a big one.
Do I give you the right answer?
you could try.
Or the... okay, let me give you the right answer.
Thank you.
There are no right answers. That's the right answer.
Okay.
So let me ask you this question, and then you can tell me, and I'll tell you why there's no right answer.
Okay.
If I walk into your business location today and I wanted to transfer money to you, and then I picked up the goods and you've never met me before, but I dressed very well and I speak very well, and I say I want #1 million worth of item, but I would transfer and then you get the money tomorrow or maybe next. Would you allow me leave?
No.
Never.
What? No.
You should
Never.
charm that
Even the charm will not work.
Never.
Family likes our money.
Okay, so the same principle applies when somebody writes you a check and you say, when the check clears, come and carry your load, right? That's the principle.
Okay.
So payment needs to be online. The technology is there. The infrastructure is the problem, and unfortunately, the infrastructure is the backbone of all the financial institutions in Nigeria. All of us rely on data for the things to work.
True.
So I think that network infrastructure, they have improved. I mean, look at how data used to be before. You used to have 2G, you had 3G, you have 4G, now we're talking about 5G.
And it's even more affordable now.
Yes, so
good point.
the cost is also going down. That's why adoption has also increased. The average success rate now on a POS terminal is about 98%.
True.
Before, it used to be like 60, 65%.
Wow.
Now, the building and your infrastructure may be the problem, not the network. The best of the networks that you may have, if you go into a bunker, it will not work.
I think so.
It will not work.
Yeah.
That's why when you go onto those big buildings and you park under, you may not have service until you walk out.
Step out.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we're in a good place in Africa. I think that our network has allowed us innovate. I think our network has given us the privilege to see big brands record 70% of their transactions as digital and 30% as cash. Who would think that we could evolve to that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot coming on. So this is not the end. There's a lot coming.
Okay,
Yes,
so considering the size of Nigeria and the increase in commerce in the country, what are you doing to increase the number of POS in the country? Because when you go to some stores, you still don't find POS. So is it an awareness thing? Or what is it? What are you doing to increase
Let me
the
just
number?
add to that, because we also see businesses that say, they've gone to their banks, they've been trying to get it for like forever, they've queued. So please help us answer the question.
Okay. You asked me not to say a lot about something.
Okay.
So I will have to say a bit about it.
Okay, if that would help us.
Okay. So the financial institutions trade with people's money.
Okay.
That's how they're able to invest in anything they do.
Yeah.
It's you and I's money, so they have to be very careful how they spend it. Now, the average income that they make on this hardware does not cover the cost of operating the POS. Everybody will tell you that. But over time, in fact, having more players in the market makes the average income reduce. I mean, it's economics. Now, things have changed. Now, the banks have limited investment portfolios for POS terminal. With the dollar increase, so is the cost of these terminals. Now, the average transactions that we do on this POS terminal determine if the paper roll, the SIM card, the data, the engineers who is going to support it, the software development, the management of the infrastructure at the back end can be covered. I don't think we have that kind of bandwidth for that. Now, again, back at InterSwitch, this is a very big problem. And so what they've done is that they've created an opportunity for you to ask for POS terminal without buying. There's actually a
without
program.
Buying.
Yes, there's a
so
program.
how do you do that?
There's a portal called business.quickteller.com. You can just go there and apply.
Okay.
And then you get a POS terminal that has all that payment options that I mentioned on there as well.
Wait, you have to be paying us sometimes for this program because
it's like advertisement. Yeah.
Well, like I said,
we're giving like the small businesses really hot tips, and I'm sure like a lot of people didn't know about this. This is also new information.
Like
for
you just apply.
So I know that last year they gave out almost close to 10,000. And about that, every year there's a lot of POSs for those who need, and of course you have to go through a proper onboarding process. You need to be a registered business. I mean, CBN has a rule as to what needs to happen for you to get a POS, so you need to satisfy all of that before you are given one.
So when they're done with these businesses, since they're not buying the POS terminals, what do they do?
Well, they get the POS terminal, they use the POS terminal. The objective of the business is to promote commerce, to promote digital payment. We feel that if the focus is not on what you're going to make from it, but improving the ecosystem, improving the business, in itself, there are other areas in which revenue would come. You know, a fintech has multiple ways in which it applies itself. A bank is more financial oriented in what it does and the products that it provides as well. And today you have so many people playing in the POS space today, giving out and creating different models. There's a leasing model, there is the fee share model, there's so many models that are available today for you to get POS.
So let's go back to those people that have still not embraced, because I really have really not embraced it, because we're talking about it today, and we talked about stores that you walk into and people will say if you're going to pay via POS, you pay an extra 100 naira because they don't want to because they don't want to cover it, or just say here we don't do transfers, we don't take transfers, madam is not around. I wanted to address that.
We can't confirm your payment.
Exactly. I wanted to address, I don't know, is it the ignorance of the business, or let small businesses, because they're watching, how does that affect, or how do you think that would affect their business? Is it positive, is it negative?
Okay, so you mentioned two things. The first is them putting extra fee on that for the card holders or for the consumer. And also the sales staff not promoting the digital payment that has been made available by. Okay, again, another problem that we're having to face. So first, it's illegal to increase the MSC or the merchant service cost. The second thing is that you can't pass costs to the consumer. It's illegal in Nigeria. Most people don't know that.
It's been done.
Yes, I know.
I know. Every other thing,
every filling station.
So it is. So the merchant fee is to the merchant. It's not to the card holder.
Wow.
So you can't pass that cost. But however, some have found a way to do that. Not directly. So what they do is they add it to the cost of your item, which is fine. But if I ask to pay because you're using this
but I've been asked to pay directly as well.
So you know what? Let's break it down. Because if I have to use the POS, I think it's 100 naira for 5,000 naira.
No.
Which year?
We're not even
Is it this year? Like recently?
No, that's a service.
That's a service.
That's a service. You have to pay for the service. We're talking about going to buy goods like
proper purchase. Proper purchase.
Not proper purchase.
Oh, okay.
Not the service.
So a proper purchase, you are not required by law to pay an additional money to anyone.
Oh, okay. No, that I haven't experienced.
Yes.
That ever.
So anybody who is telling you to add some money to, because you have to use.
I can even call the name of the person.
No.
I'm joking. But change your ways.
So it could also be that their service provider is putting some financial pressure on them that we're not aware of.
Probably.
So there is a regulated price. It's 0.5%. That is a regulated price, and everybody knows this.
So they're just
and it's capped at
it.
a certain amount of money. So they might just be transferring it. But they're not doing it the right way. Typically, you should just put that in the price of the item being
but
purchased.
they want to sell differently to the person that is paying cash and the person that is paying POS. So they have to
Okay. That's fair.
It makes it difficult for the card holders.
Now, for the cashiers who are not trying to encourage this, there are many ways. I mean, in North America, they've implemented what is called a tipping point. A tipping point is where you reward the cashier to use the digital payment channel to say, if you improve your digital transactions by 20% or 40%, make them a part of the business. I will give you 1,000 recharge every week.
Makes sense.
I will give you 2,000 naira additional.
That's more enticing.
Yeah, so you bring.
Why are you doing as if you want to tomorrow? You want to go to the cashier?
Because I like that kind of deal.
So you bring them into that ecosystem because they're outside the ecosystem. They don't understand why you are implementing it, and this goes back to the basics of business management. If you're trying to implement technology into your business, carry the staff along. Even your security man must understand why that technology.
Okay,
is
so let's take this comment from Yoko. Please, Ayo, if I spoil Yoko, if I spoil your name, please forgive me. From Lagos, it says, "What is the future of the unbanked, and how will the alternative payment cater for them effectively in the next 5 years?"
What makes you unbanked?
You're not using bank.
Location.
Why?
Location.
One?
Accessibility.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also you may not have the requirements that is necessary to have a bank account.
Okay. So if I take all of that, maybe 70% of it is on the person that is unbanked.
Most of the time, yes.
So if I want to be banked and I'm a farmer, what do I need to do? Go to the bank and get banked.
Jeffrey, you know this conversation.
Wait, so that's one.
Okay, because it's a different.
The second one is that the evolution of agent banking has come into Nigeria. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm sure it's way over 200,000.
Oh, way over. One bank can boast of over 100,000.
There you go. So it means that at every cranny, you just need to look well. You will find somewhere you can open a bank account or be a part of it.
Jeffrey, I'm not going to take you on this. We're not going to take it.
But I just want to debate it.
Okay.
Maybe we can come back some other time and discuss.
We have to come back.
Take your comments.
I think he has a very fascinating way of breaking down finances and this payment
Making
option
it
thing. Like your degrees.
Take your comment. We're running.
Okay, girl. All right. So when you have the real capacity to grow, that's indeed when you grow. The world is changing into a dimension that with your toy in your hands, you can explore and make your expenses at a low key. Great guys and great women, great guy and great women always on ways. Merry Christmas. It's a season to cheer up. Bobby Kennedy from Jalingo, Taraba State.
Bobby Kennedy.
Thank you.
Merry
Christmas,
Kennedy is
Bobby.
always is
a huge fan on the show, always interacting. Thank you.
So before we go, I just want to take one final word, especially to those people that are still collecting huge cash. You know, when we introduced the show, we're talking about the risks of even collecting cash during this period. I don't know if you guys are aware, there's a lot of robbery going on, and stores being ransacked. If you have a final word for SMEs that have yet to embrace alternative payment options, what would that be?
Before there used to be a lot of costs getting alternative payment or digital payment. Now there's no cost. There's just a website you need to go to and just onboard your business. If you can't do it, ask your son, your neighbors to help you. Today, to be able to receive USSD payment, there's no cost. Today, to receive payment through QR, you can just print it out and paste it on your shop, or a string of USSD at your shop, or you get a POS terminal, or activate your storefront. Today, a lot of the fintechs are building what is called storefront. Storefront means that you can digitize your store without any cost, and you can copy the link and share on all your social media pages, on your WhatsApp story, and people can click the link, see all the shoes, pick and pay immediately right on your WhatsApp. So there are alternatives today. Just getting the website I mentioned earlier, business.quickteller.com, is very available, no cost. Go and onboard, get on board, and start collecting money now.
Okay, you really have to act now. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies. You have been wonderful. Thank you, Jeffrey. We've not asked all our questions. I know that there are more questions, so we might bring you back. Please say yes when we ask you to come.
I'll send the invoice.
Before we go, to ensure that you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica, you can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we have started our giveaway just to say thank you for watching and believing in the Ways brand and following the conversation. Follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica to see all the goodies we have for grad. We have hair, we have free things. Go there. Remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. The future of finance is not technology. It is the extreme obsession to be on the side of the customer. Technology is the enabler to make it happen, and that's from Harry Talwar. Okay, till we see you again next Monday by 8 p.m. where we bring another great conversation to your screen. Bye-bye.